YouTube channel. And give me just a second here. So it looks like I've got Facebook over here. Hey guys, I've never been live on Facebook before, so I'm probably not going to be reading a lot of comments while I'm doing this. I want to share something with you guys. And hey, YouTube. Hey guys, how you doing? I felt very guided today to come on and share something with you. It's sort of breaking news, I guess. It's very important. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with you because I had a little channeling in earlier of some higher self aspects that wanted to speak. And for those of you, over on Facebook, I don't usually go live. So I'm a little bit nervous about this because I usually just stick with my like-minded community of friends and whatnot, but this is very important. So for those of you who know me, I like to do my energy work and spiritual work within the communities of like-minded individuals. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone live on Facebook. So anyhow, I connect to quite a diverse population of various communities, of various belief systems, aspirations, goals, and dreams. I respect each and every one of you, every single one of you. Speaking to Facebook now because YouTube knows me and knows how I feel, but I respect each and every one of you, and it's my belief that you have the birthright to live as you wish, so long as it doesn't cause harm to the many universes of cohabitating beings all around you. We're playing in this beautiful but oftentimes cruel game of life together. Over the past year and a half, humanity has taken steps to wake up in all of its collective meanings. We all found out there's a dungeon beneath our basements. Thank you, Soul Sister Sherry, for that one. When we have done the work to clear out our own houses, aka personal lives, we found out there's a dungeon beneath the basement. But at least we know it's there, even if we have chosen not to go all the way down for the cleanup and deep soul work yet. Integrity is a founding tenet in many practices, and for good reason. Without integrity, we become divided. I won't preach about being divided or united, because most people I know do desire for this madness to end and for everyone to be united. Whether it's over politics, our children, the elections, and to make an understatement, humanity's main trajectory moving forward. Without integrity, there's no trust. When you lose trust, I don't need to tell you all the ugly that brings upon ourselves. And we've all most likely experienced both trust and mistrust. I want to read a letter of explanation today from a senator in Pennsylvania, Senator Mastriano. He felt the need to outline what has happened in the elections for Pennsylvania, and he's taking action for a full forensic audit. There are many who want to know the truth, and we are about to get it one way or another. When there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to fear. And let me say that again. When there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to fear. I will read this letter so both sides can see the process clearly and in a comprehensible way so that there's no need for this nightmare to continue. Once and for all, we the people need to know whether we can finally just let it go and get on with our lives or otherwise. I said this earlier, but it's in the letter, so I'm just going to read it here. I don't know if my Facebook friends know I have a YouTube channel, but it was part of my healing process when my son died. I began reading some poetry and talking about healing and energy work and spiritual topics, such as dreams and meditations, etc. I had fast and steady growth until I started talking about topics centered around the spiritual aspect of what was happening in our world from my perspective. And I have a right to do that. As a result, my algorithms were suppressed on YouTube. I started getting spammed with trolls and then some really nasty comments, which continues to this day. Trying to stay on top of that, though. How is this related? Good question. Many of you know the answer already. Censorship controls information. If you control the information, you control the narrative, and there is no integrity, period. I was also deplatformed on Twitter in February, losing all my followers, and I hadn't even tweeted since mid-October. I was also censored on Facebook, as many of you have been too, in your quest to find and share information that wasn't being given freely, openly, and honestly. For example, we deserve to have questions answered about ingredients in anything we choose to put in our bodies, or whether or not we're being experimented on. It's called informed consent. I would hope all of you agree that censorship should never, ever, ever happen. I made a personal choice to send my evidence and info to join the class action lawsuit against big tech, and we'll let the lawyers decide on that. Either way, I choose to continue speaking and using my voice about fairness for all, justice for all, because I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The time of division needs to end either way. If the audits of 2020 and 2021 election results show that the mainstream media show what the mainstream media has claimed to be true, then so be it, and we can all move on. And if it shows the fraud that so many have been speaking about while trying to get the real evidence heard, then we need to know. Just think about it this way, whatever side you fall on. If the original results of the election showed that Trump won and there was evidence widespread that voter fraud had occurred, I'm 100% certain that we, the people, would demand to know the truth, and movements would spring forward immediately to put him behind bars. Criminals must be held accountable, regardless of their political affiliation, because it's way beyond that at this point. I'll post the letter that I'm going to read in just a second. I'll post it over on my Facebook page. It's not fake, so if you don't see it or it gets censored, you'll know why. And I was going to be going live on another channel today to discuss this, but I think we're going to reschedule, so I will let you guys know when that is set, and we'll go from there. So here is the letter. This is from Senator Doug Mastriano. Op-ed, why I'm initiating a forensic investigation of the 2020 general election and 2021 primary. A forensic investigation of our election results and processes for the 2020 general election and the 2021 primary will go a long way to restore trust in our system. Voting is the fundamental right of all citizens. We should continually look for ways to improve the voting process to ensure every voice is heard. Today, as chair of the Intergovernmental Operations Committee, I issued letters to several counties requesting information and materials needed to conduct forensic investigations of the 2020 general election and the 2021 primary. We have asked these counties to respond by July 31st with a plan to comply. The counties represent different geographical regions of Pennsylvania and differing political makeups. Some are Republican while others are Democrat, which means this will be a balanced investigation. That's good. The Intergovernmental Operations Committee is a standing committee of the Pennsylvania State Senate with the oversight and investigatory responsibilities regarding activities relating to or conducted between two or more governments or levels of government, including the administration of elections across the Commonwealth. As set forth in Pennsylvania State Senate Rule 14D, each standing committee is empowered with the authority to inspect and investigate the books, records, papers, documents, data, operations, and physical plant of any public agency in this Commonwealth, including county boards of elections. This is necessary as millions of Pennsylvanians have serious doubts about the accuracy of the 2020 general election. A January poll from Muhlenberg University showed that 40% of Pennsylvania voters are not confident that the results of the 2020 election accurately reflect how Pennsylvanians voted. Discounting or mocking their concerns is neither an answer nor proper in this constitutional republic. During debate on election reform a couple weeks ago, some of my colleagues regrettably dismissed these poll numbers as an inconvenient truth and went on to assert that the only reason there is distrust in our election process was because of the conspiracy theories and lies from those they disagree with politically. This sort of ad hominem attack does nothing to address the concerns of millions of voters. The case for a forensic investigation of the 2020 general election is evident to any unbiased observer. This was the first election in Pennsylvania with mass mail-in voting. In 2020, there were 2.7 million ballots cast by mail and absentee, compared to about 263,000 absentee ballots cast in 2016. Many of these ballots were counted at off-site locations with little outside observation or oversight. Furthermore, mail ballots without signature verifications were permitted to be counted across the Commonwealth. And of course, all of this transpired in the midst of COVID-19, where uncertainty and fear impacted the conduct of the election. Additionally, the weeks leading up to the election, this is important. The weeks leading up to the election, the Department of State repeatedly altered the manner in which Pennsylvania elections were conducted. Those who voted in person were held to a higher standard than those who mailed in their ballots. Signatures required for mail-in ballots were rendered meaningless, as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that ballots could not be rejected based on an analysis of the voter's signature. So the court ruled against that. On September 17th, the PA Supreme Court ruled that counties had to count ballots received up to 3 days after the election. A week before the election, the Department of State told the U.S. Supreme Court that ballots received after 8 p.m. on November 3rd would be segregated, but the department changed the rules 2 days before the election and directed counties to canvass those ballots upon receipt. The U.S. Supreme Court had to step in and order the counties to segregate the ballots. Just hours before the polls opened on November 3rd, the department changed the rules again by providing late guidance on how to help voters whose mail-in or absentee ballots were incorrectly completed. The guidance resulted in inconsistent applications across the Commonwealth. Some counties contacted voters and some counties contacted voters as directed, while others did not. There was no basis for that guidance in current or case law. No basis for that guidance in current or case law. It would defy logic to assume that elections with the kind of drastic changes we saw in 2020 was run perfectly with zero errors or fraud. Governor Wolf and Secretary of State refused to conduct any type of thorough investigation, despite the concerns of millions of our citizens in the aftermath of the election and hundreds of affidavits alleging firsthand fraud, irregularities, and illegal behavior witnessed at polling places. The closest thing to an investigation we got was a so-called risk limiting audit, which consisted of a sample of only 45,000 randomly selected ballots from the November election. Not nearly the type of investigation that was needed to determine any fraud, misconduct, or technical abnormalities. The audit was conducted by the Department of State and did not include public input or outside observers. Remember when they were locking them out? Election process problems were not limited to 2020. During the May primary, multiple poll locations ran out of their supply of ballots. This occurs even though counties are required to print at least 10% more ballots than the highest number of votes cast in any of the previous 3 municipal primary elections. In some precincts, voting machines improperly labeled the headers of Republican ballots as Democrat, while GOP races still appeared. In one county, a quote, printing issue caused both Democratic and Republican ballots to be rejected. These errors occurred in a lower turnout election where mistakes should be least likely to occur. A full forensic investigation is critical. A full forensic investigation is critically necessary for our Commonwealth for the sake of transparency and accountability. There is nothing to fear if there's nothing to hide. Those who have concerns about the integrity of the 2020 and 2021 election will have those concerns investigated and hopefully addressed. Those that think there was zero voter fraud, no irregularities, and the election was conducted perfectly will have a chance to be vindicated. This investigation is not about overturning the results of the election, of either election. The goals are to restore faith in the integrity of our system, confirm the effectiveness of existing legislation on the governance of elections, and identify areas for legislative reform. I think that's it. So, there you have it. That's what's going on. I wanted you guys to know that so that you could get an idea of what's going on in Pennsylvania. And I don't think you're going to see this. You might see a little blab in the news about it, maybe. I don't know. But there's a lot going on. And there are places where you can get your news and information if you're not getting it on mainstream media. It has been a problem for quite a long time getting the truth. So this hopefully will all be coming to an end very shortly. Remember, next week we have some big things going on, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And don't forget, the 11th is going to be the emergency broadcast system test. So just make sure your phones are all set so you can get those alerts just in case there's other things happening that you may need to be alerted to in the meantime. So I just wanted to thank you guys for being here and this quick little update. I don't know how long I'm going to keep there, how long this will stay on Facebook, if it even goes. We will see. And if not, come on over to my YouTube channel. It's Linda Light. And I talk about anything. Anything goes. So I'm just starting to get into the lives, and hopefully you guys can join me in chat, and I will be getting better at doing that. And Sundays we will be having 4 of us are going to be coming on, and we're going to be picking people to do healings and readings and things like that. So feel free to join us, and thank you for being here. I will see you guys. Bye, Facebook and YouTube. Bye, guys. I love you. I'll see you soon.